Ladies and gentlemen, good day to you all. When someone cheats or hurts you, the natural response is often anger, resentment, or even a desire for revenge. It's a deeply human reaction, fueled by the pain of betrayal and the loss of trust. But what if I told you that holding on to that pain only tightens the chains around your heart? What if I told you that true freedom comes not from getting even, but from responding with wisdom, strength, and grace? The way you handle betrayal can determine whether you remain bound by your past or rise above it into a life of peace and purpose. When someone cheats or hurts you, the first thing you must do is acknowledge the pain. Denying your feelings won't make them disappear, it will only bury them deeper, where they can fester and cause greater harm. Pain is a signal, not a prison. It tells you that something needs your attention. So allow yourself to feel the hurt, but refuse to be consumed by it. Acknowledge the betrayal, but don't let it define who you are. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become in response to it. Next, resist the urge to seek revenge. The world often teaches that striking back is a way to reclaim power, but the truth is that revenge only traps you in a cycle of negativity. It keeps you emotionally tied to the person who hurt you, giving them continued control over your life. True strength is found in rising above the need for retaliation. When you refuse to lower yourself to the level of those who wronged you, you reclaim your dignity and power. You show that your worth is not determined by someone else's actions, but by your response. Forgiveness is the most misunderstood yet most liberating action you can take. Forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior or forgetting what happened. It's not about pretending the pain isn't real. Forgiveness is about releasing yourself from the emotional grip of the past. It's a gift you give yourself, not the person who hurt you. When you forgive, you sever the chains that tie you to the offense. You free your mind and heart to heal, to grow, and to move forward. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it breaks its power over your future. Forgiving doesn't mean you have to reconcile or trust the person again. Trust is earned through consistent, trustworthy behavior. Forgiveness is unconditional, but trust is conditional. If someone has shown a pattern of dishonesty or harm, it's wise to set healthy boundaries. Protecting yourself is not bitterness, it's wisdom. You can forgive someone while choosing not to let them occupy a place of influence in your life. Boundaries are a sign of self-respect and self-worth. They tell others how you expect to be treated and what you will no longer tolerate. While forgiveness is crucial, so is learning from the experience. Every betrayal holds a lesson, even if it's hard to see in the moment. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can this pain make me wiser, stronger, and more resilient? Life's toughest experiences often become our greatest teachers, shaping our character and sharpening our discernment. Allow the hurt to refine you, not define you. Use the experience to grow in wisdom and to make better choices moving forward. Another essential step is to guard your heart without closing it. After being hurt, it's tempting to build walls so high that no one can get in. But walls keep out love, joy, and connection as much as they keep out pain. Instead of building walls, build gates with discernment. Be open to new relationships and experiences, but learn to recognize red flags and trust your intuition. Be wise but not bitter. Be cautious but not closed off. A guarded heart is wise, but a hardened heart is imprisoned. Surround yourself with supportive people who uplift and encourage you. Isolation breeds resentment and depression, while healthy relationships foster healing and renewal. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, mentor, or counselor. Share your feelings honestly and allow yourself to be supported. Healing happens faster when you are connected to others who remind you of your worth and potential. No one heals alone, we heal through love, understanding, and shared strength. Finally, focus on your future, not your past. The person who hurt you may have stolen moments of your life, but they cannot steal your destiny unless you let them. Don't let a chapter of pain become the whole story of your life. Every day is a new opportunity to reclaim your joy, pursue your dreams, and live with purpose. The best way to respond to betrayal is to rise above it, living in a way that reflects your highest values and greatest potential. Remember, pain is inevitable, but staying broken is a choice. You have the power to rise from betrayal stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. You are not defined by what someone did to you. You are defined by how you respond, how you heal, and how you grow. Choose forgiveness, choose wisdom, and choose freedom. Your life is far too valuable to be weighed down by past hurts. Rise, rebuild, and reclaim the future that belongs to you. Peace is a precious commodity in today's world, a state of mind that many people desire but few fully understand. It's not something that can be bought, traded, or given to you. It's something you must consciously protect and nurture. The truth is that in life there will always be forces, people, situations, and even your own mind that try to disturb your peace. However, peace is not a passive state, it's an active choice. To protect your peace means to prioritize it above all else, recognizing its immense value and making decisions that safeguard it no matter what. When we think about peace, we often imagine a tranquil scene, a calm lake, a serene mountaintop, or an idyllic landscape untouched by the chaos of the world. These external representations of peace are often easy to grasp because they are visual and tangible. But true peace goes beyond external conditions. True peace exists in the mind and spirit. It is an internal calm that allows you to navigate the chaos of life without being swept away by it. It is the ability to stay centered when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Protecting your peace, therefore, means learning how to maintain that internal calm in the face of external turbulence. The first thing to understand about protecting your peace is that you must be aware of what threatens it. Life is full of challenges, and not all of them can be avoided or controlled. People will disappoint you, hurt you, and let you down. Situations will arise that test your patience and your emotions. The world itself can be overwhelming with its constant demands and distractions. But all of these things, while outside of your control, don't have to dictate how you feel or react. The key is in how you respond to them. When your peace is threatened, it's up to you to decide whether to react in a way that keeps you grounded or lets you become entangled in the negativity. One of the biggest threats to our peace is other people. Whether it's a friend, a colleague, a family member, or even a stranger, people can sometimes disturb our inner calm with their words, actions, or behaviors. We often allow the words and actions of others to define how we feel. When someone insults you, betrays you, or treats you poorly, it's easy to feel anger, hurt, or resentment. But letting others have that kind of control over your emotional state is a surefire way to lose your peace. Protecting your peace requires setting boundaries with others, learning to say no when necessary, and deciding not to take things personally. It's important to remember that how someone treats you says more about them than it does about you. If someone insults you or treats you unfairly, it's a reflection of their character, not yours. When you internalize their actions and allow them to disturb your peace, you are giving away your power. Instead, you must learn to detach from the negativity they bring. This doesn't mean you have to accept mistreatment, but it does mean that you don't have to let it affect your emotional state. By choosing not to take offense, you can protect your peace and maintain control over your response. Another way people can disrupt your peace is through gossip, drama, or unnecessary conflict. Many times people will involve you in their issues or try to create tension where there need not be any. In these situations, it's crucial to be mindful of where you invest your energy. Not every situation requires your involvement or your opinion. If someone tries to pull you into a drama-filled conversation or event, protect your peace by staying out of it. You don't have to entertain every argument or listen to every complaint. Sometimes the best way to protect your peace is simply by walking away from toxic situations. Apart from others, another threat to our peace comes from within ourselves. Our own thoughts, fears, and insecurities can be just as disruptive as external circumstances. Negative self-talk, worry, and anxiety are all things that can rob us of our peace. Many times we are our own worst enemies, creating stress and tension through our thought patterns. For example, we may replay past events in our minds, constantly ruminating on mistakes we've made or things we wish we could have done differently. This kind of thinking not only disturbs our peace, but it also keeps us stuck in the past, preventing us from moving forward. Protecting your peace, therefore, requires that you take charge of your thoughts. You must become aware of the negative thought patterns that arise and take steps to change them. This might mean practicing mindfulness and meditation, engaging in positive affirmations, or simply reminding yourself to stay present in the moment. When negative thoughts arise, challenge them. Ask yourself whether these thoughts are based on facts or just assumptions. Remind yourself that you are capable of handling whatever challenges come your way, and that worrying about them ahead of time only robs you of the peace you need to deal with them. It's also important to create an environment that supports your peace. Our external surroundings can have a profound impact on our internal state. A cluttered, chaotic environment can lead to a cluttered, chaotic mind. If you want to protect your peace, it's essential to create spaces in your life that nurture calmness and clarity. This might mean decluttering your home or office, establishing a calm routine, or even limiting your exposure to social media or news that causes unnecessary stress. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, activities that bring you joy, and environments that make you feel safe and peaceful. Your environment should be a reflection of the peace you wish to cultivate inside. Another key aspect of protecting your peace is learning to let go of things that are outside your control. There will always be situations and circumstances that you can't change, no matter how hard you try. Trying to control everything will only create frustration and anxiety. Instead, focus on what you can control: your actions, your responses, and your mindset. Trust that things will unfold as they are meant to, and release the need to micromanage every detail of your life. When you let go of the need to control everything, you free yourself to experience more peace and contentment. Additionally, protecting your peace means setting healthy boundaries. You can't allow everyone access to your time, energy, and emotions. It's okay to say no when you need to, even if it disappoints others. In fact, saying no is one of the most powerful ways to protect your peace. If something doesn't align with your values, if it drains you emotionally, or if it simply doesn't serve your well-being, don't feel obligated to say yes. Protect your time and energy by setting clear boundaries with others and with yourself. Learn to prioritize your own needs without guilt or apology. One of the greatest misconceptions about peace is that it's a static state that you can just achieve and then maintain effortlessly. The truth is that protecting your peace is an ongoing practice. There will always be new challenges, new people, and new situations that try to disturb your peace. But the more you practice protecting your peace, the better you will become at it. It becomes a way of life, a mindset that you carry with you no matter where you go or what you face. Protecting your peace doesn't mean isolating yourself from the world or avoiding all conflict. It means learning how to navigate life's challenges with grace, staying grounded in your center, and making choices that align with your well-being. It means choosing not to let external circumstances dictate your emotional state, and instead focusing on cultivating an inner calm that will see you through anything life throws your way. It means understanding that peace is not something that happens to you, but something that you create and protect for yourself. At the end of the day, protecting your peace is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. It allows you to show up fully in your life, to be present, and to respond to challenges with clarity and strength. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict, it's the presence of something much deeper: a quiet confidence, a resilient spirit, and a steady heart that is unshaken by the storms of life. And when you protect that peace, you create space for all the good things in life to come to you. Emotions are a fundamental part of the human experience. They color our lives, influence our decisions, and shape the way we see the world. Often we react to situations based on how we feel, and our emotions can sometimes feel so overpowering that they seem to control us. However, owning your emotions is about understanding them, accepting them, and using them as tools for growth, not allowing them to dictate your life. To own your emotions is to take responsibility for them, to not let them define you, but to recognize their power and manage them in a way that aligns with your values and goals. The first step in owning your emotions is recognizing that emotions are natural and part of the human condition. No one is exempt from feeling anger, sadness, joy, frustration, or any other emotion. These feelings arise in response to both internal and external stimuli. You may feel joy when something good happens in your life, and you may feel anger when you perceive an injustice. Emotions serve a vital purpose. They are signals. They alert us to what is happening around us, and they help us process and understand experiences. But while emotions are natural, the way we respond to them is a choice. It's easy to believe that emotions just happen to us, that they come unbidden and uncontrollable. However, emotions are often a product of our thoughts, our perceptions, and our beliefs. When you take ownership of your emotions, you acknowledge that your thoughts and reactions influence how you feel. Once you understand that emotions are natural and often shaped by your thoughts, the next step is to recognize them as they arise. Too often we suppress our emotions, telling ourselves we should feel differently or that our emotions aren't valid. We push them down because we fear judgment, misunderstanding, or because we are too busy to deal with them. But suppressing emotions doesn't make them go away. In fact, it can lead to greater emotional turmoil down the road. When we don't confront our emotions, they can manifest in other ways: stress, anxiety, tension, even physical ailments. By recognizing your emotions as they arise, you allow yourself the space to process them rather than allowing them to fester beneath the surface. The process of recognizing your emotions involves being present with yourself. It means checking in with your feelings throughout the day and asking yourself, how am I feeling right now? This question may seem simple, but it can be powerful. Many people go through their daily routines without ever acknowledging how they feel. They go from one task to the next, distracted by external demands, without taking a moment to connect with their emotional state. By creating time for self-awareness, you start to see patterns in your emotional responses, which in turn gives you the power to understand and manage them better. Owning your emotions means accepting them without judgment. It's common to feel shame or guilt about certain emotions, especially those that are labeled as negative, like anger, jealousy, or sadness. We might think that to feel these emotions makes us weak or flawed. However, no emotion is inherently bad or good. It's how we express and respond to them that matters. Anger, for example, is a natural response to perceived injustice or frustration. But when it is expressed in harmful ways, such as through violence or verbal abuse, it becomes destructive. When you own your emotions, you stop viewing them through the lens of judgment and start seeing them as signals that can help you understand your deeper needs and desires. By accepting your emotions, you create a space where you don't have to resist them. This doesn't mean you let your emotions control you, rather. It means you stop fighting them. The act of resisting only amplifies the emotion, making it more intense and harder to process. By accepting your emotions, you give yourself permission to feel without shame, guilt, or fear. This acceptance is freeing. It removes the burden of feeling like you have to suppress or deny how you feel. The sooner you acknowledge and accept your emotions, the sooner you can begin to understand their origin and what they're trying to teach you. Another crucial aspect of owning your emotions is learning how to express them constructively. Emotions, if left unchecked, can lead to impulsive actions or outbursts that are not aligned with who we want to be. It's easy to react without thinking, yelling when you're angry, withdrawing when you're sad, or criticizing others when you feel insecure. However, the key to emotional ownership lies in choosing how to respond to those emotions. Rather than acting on impulse, it's important to take a moment and pause. Give yourself the time and space to process what you're feeling before reacting. This pause helps you respond in a way that is thoughtful, intentional, and aligned with your values. There are many ways to express emotions constructively. For example, when you feel anger building up, instead of immediately reacting, you can take a few deep breaths, step away from the situation if needed, and then express your feelings in a calm and assertive manner. If you are feeling sadness, rather than bottling it up or retreating into isolation, you might talk to a trusted friend or journal about your feelings. Learning to express your emotions in a healthy way allows you to release pent-up feelings without causing harm to yourself or others. Part of owning your emotions is also understanding that they are temporary. Emotions, no matter how intense they may seem in the moment, are fleeting. The feeling of anger, frustration, or sadness will not last forever. One of the most empowering things you can do when faced with intense emotions is to remind yourself that emotions are not permanent. You are not defined by your feelings. While emotions are valid and important, they do not dictate who you are. They are temporary responses to external circumstances or internal thoughts, but they do not define your identity. This understanding gives you perspective, allowing you to step back from your emotions and avoid being overwhelmed by them. Owning your emotions also means taking responsibility for your emotional reactions. This is an important step in emotional maturity. It's easy to blame others for how we feel. She made me angry, or he hurt my feelings. While other people's actions can certainly trigger our emotions, it's essential to recognize that no one can make us feel anything. Our emotional responses are determined by our own interpretations of the situation, and our reactions are within our control. Taking ownership of your emotions means understanding that your feelings are not dictated by external circumstances. You always have the power to choose how to respond. For example, if someone says something hurtful, you can choose to let it affect you deeply, or you can choose to let it roll off your back. It's not about pretending to be unaffected, but about recognizing that your reaction is a choice. By taking responsibility for your emotional responses, you empower yourself to act from a place of wisdom and clarity rather than from a place of reactivity. To truly own your emotions, it's important to reflect on them and learn from them. Every emotional response has something to teach you. When you feel angry, what is it about the situation that triggered that anger? When you feel sad, what need is unfulfilled? By asking these questions, you start to gain insight into your emotional triggers and underlying beliefs. This self-reflection can lead to greater self-awareness and personal growth. Often, emotions arise because of unmet needs or unresolved conflicts within us. For instance, feelings of resentment may arise when you feel unappreciated or taken for granted. Recognizing these underlying causes allows you to address the root issues rather than just reacting to surface-level emotions. As you learn to own your emotions, begin to develop a deeper understanding of your own needs and values. You become more attuned to your emotional landscape, and you can navigate life with greater ease and clarity. Owning your emotions is a lifelong practice, one that requires patience and self-compassion. It's not about suppressing emotions or pretending to be unaffected. It's about accepting your feelings, taking responsibility for how you respond to them, and using them as opportunities for growth. By doing so, you can navigate the complexities of life with more resilience, wisdom, and emotional intelligence. When you own your emotions, you no longer let them control you. Instead, you take charge of your emotional well-being, creating a life that is more authentic, balanced, and fulfilling. Revenge is an emotion deeply rooted in human nature. It stems from a place of hurt, betrayal, or perceived injustice, often compelling a person to seek retribution in some form. When someone wrongs you, the urge to get even or to make them feel the pain they inflicted can seem like an immediate, almost instinctive response. It might feel like the only way to restore balance or to regain control over your circumstances. However, the pursuit of revenge, while satisfying in the moment, often leaves you stuck in a cycle of negativity that ultimately harms you more than the person who wronged you. Letting go of revenge is a crucial step in reclaiming your peace and emotional freedom, and it is an essential part of personal growth and maturity. The impulse to seek revenge is often linked to a need for justice. When we feel wronged, we naturally want the other person to face consequences for their actions. In some cases, revenge can feel like a way of righting the wrongs done to us, balancing the scales of fairness. However, this desire for justice is frequently distorted by our emotions, clouding our judgment and creating a deep internal conflict. Instead of focusing on healing and moving forward, we get entangled in the need to punish someone, believing that this will provide us with the closure we seek. But the reality is that revenge rarely leads to the peace we desire. When we seek revenge, we're often not truly interested in seeing the person who hurt us suffer. Rather, we're trying to alleviate our own pain. The act of getting even provides a temporary sense of satisfaction or relief, a way to release some of the anger and frustration that is built up inside. But this relief is fleeting, and after the dust settles, we may be left with a sense of emptiness, guilt, or even regret. In many cases, the person we sought to hurt may not even feel the impact of our revenge, leaving us feeling unfulfilled and hollow. Meanwhile, the cycle of negativity continues to trap us in its grip, and we remain emotionally stuck in the past. One of the most profound reasons to let go of revenge is that it prevents us from moving forward. Holding on to the desire for retaliation keeps us anchored to the hurt we experienced. We become consumed by thoughts of retribution, plotting ways to make the other person feel the pain we felt. The problem with this is that it takes up valuable emotional and mental energy that could otherwise be spent on healing and growth. By focusing on revenge, we give power to the person who wronged us, as we allow their actions to continue affecting us even long after the event has passed. Letting go of revenge means taking back your power and shifting your focus away from the person who hurt you, and instead focusing on your own well-being and emotional recovery. The act of letting go of revenge also frees us from the toxic cycle of bitterness and resentment. Revenge often arises from feelings of anger, injustice, and hurt. However, holding on to these emotions without processing them can lead to long-term negative effects on our mental and physical health. Constantly replaying the wrongs done to us can keep us in a state of stress, anxiety, and even depression. Over time, the desire for revenge can grow, feeding off the negative emotions that fuel it. The more we hold on to these feelings, the harder it becomes to let go, creating a downward spiral that prevents us from finding peace and happiness. Moreover, when we seek revenge, we lower ourselves to the level of the person who hurt us. Revenge is an act that perpetuates the cycle of harm, whether physical, emotional, or psychological. It might feel justifiable in the heat of the moment, but it rarely improves the situation. By taking revenge, we are essentially engaging in the same behavior that caused us pain. We become part of the problem instead of the solution. Letting go of revenge means choosing to rise above the situation and choosing to act with dignity, integrity, and compassion, even when we feel wronged. This shift in perspective can bring about healing both for ourselves and for our relationships with others. Another powerful reason to let go of revenge is the understanding that holding on to anger and resentment does not serve our long-term well-being. In fact, it often serves to deepen the wound. While our initial instinct may be to retaliate, we need to recognize that we are, in effect, continuing to give the other person a place in our lives by allowing them to occupy our thoughts. When we refuse to let go of the desire for revenge, we remain emotionally tied to them, and our healing is delayed. This means that the person who hurt us continues to have an influence on our emotional state, despite the fact that they may have moved on with their lives. By choosing to let go of revenge, we are not only releasing the other person, but we are also releasing ourselves from the emotional prison we have built. Forgiveness is often seen as an essential part of letting go of revenge, but forgiveness does not necessarily mean condoning the wrongdoing. Forgiveness is a personal choice, a decision to free yourself from the burden of anger and resentment. It is not about excusing the behavior or even reconciling with the person who hurt you. Instead, it is about reclaiming your emotional autonomy. Forgiving someone who has wronged you allows you to stop carrying the weight of their actions on your shoulders. It is a form of self-care, not a favor to the person who hurt you. When you forgive, you release the negative energy that revenge feeds on, creating space for healing and emotional growth. By letting go of the desire to retaliate, you are able to move beyond the pain and hurt and focus on building a better future for yourself. You free yourself from the grip of past events, enabling you to live in the present without being held hostage by memories of the past. This process of emotional liberation can lead to greater emotional intelligence and resilience, allowing you to handle future challenges with greater ease and understanding. In addition to personal healing, letting go of revenge also fosters a sense of empathy and compassion. When we hold on to anger, we are often unable to see things from the perspective of the person who wronged us. We become so consumed by our own hurt that we fail to recognize that the other person may also be suffering. Perhaps they are acting out of their own pain, insecurity, or unresolved issues. By letting go of revenge, we open ourselves up to the possibility of understanding and forgiveness. This shift in perspective can deepen our empathy and allow us to navigate our relationships with greater compassion. Sometimes the person who has wronged us is not even aware of the harm they caused, or they may not care. In these cases, seeking revenge is often a futile effort. The person may not be affected by our actions, and the cycle of bitterness and anger only serves to harm ourselves. When we release the desire for revenge, we let go of the need for the other person to acknowledge or pay for their actions. We take control of our emotional well-being independent of the other person's behavior. In this way, letting go of revenge becomes an act of empowerment, allowing us to regain control over our emotions and our response to the situation. At its core, letting go of revenge is about choosing peace over conflict. Revenge is often fueled by the belief that we need to defend ourselves or restore justice. But in reality, the pursuit of revenge rarely leads to the peace we seek. Instead, it keeps us locked in a cycle of negativity that prevents us from moving forward. When we choose to let go of revenge, we choose peace over retaliation, healing over harm, and growth over stagnation. We empower ourselves to release the grip of past hurts, and we open ourselves up to a brighter, more fulfilling future. The act of letting go of revenge is not easy. It requires strength, self-awareness, and a willingness to embrace healing over harm. But the rewards of releasing the need for revenge are immeasurable. It allows you to free yourself from the chains of anger and resentment, to reclaim your emotional peace, and to move forward in a healthier and more balanced way. In choosing to let go of revenge, you choose to take the higher road, not just for the sake of others, but for your own well-being and growth. It is a decision that reflects emotional maturity, resilience, and a deep understanding that peace and healing come from within. Life is a journey, a constant series of experiences, both positive and negative, that shape us into who we are. Each moment we live offers an opportunity for growth, but growth does not always come easily. Sometimes it is born from the struggles, the hard touches, the challenges we face, and the mistakes we make. The key to evolving as a person lies not in avoiding these struggles, but in learning from them. To truly grow, one must actively seek to understand the lessons in every experience, especially the difficult ones. Learning and growing from life's experiences involves reflection, self-awareness, and the courage to adapt and change. It is a continuous process, a cycle that propels us toward greater wisdom, empathy, and resilience. Every experience in life, whether joyous or painful, carries with it a potential lesson. When things go well, we celebrate, but we also learn from the successes, the habits that led to achievement, the strategies that worked, and the choices that helped us reach our goals. However, it is often in our mistakes and failures where the most profound lessons reside. We tend to think of failure as something to be avoided at all costs, but in reality, failure is one of our greatest teachers. Failure pushes us out of our comfort zone and forces us to confront our weaknesses and limitations. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions, reevaluate our approach, and reconsider our methods. When we view failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone toward growth, we open ourselves up to the potential for real transformation. Learning from an experience involves more than simply acknowledging what happened. It requires reflection, looking back on the event and considering what went well, what didn't, and why. This process of reflection allows us to gain insight into our actions, our reactions, and the circumstances that led to the outcome. Reflection is the foundation of growth because it transforms an experience into a learning opportunity. When we take the time to understand our experiences, we can extract lessons that help us avoid making the same mistakes in the future and equip us with new tools for success. Through this process, we start to see ourselves more clearly, understanding both our strengths and our areas of growth. In addition to reflection, learning and growing from an experience requires the ability to be honest with ourselves. Often when things don't go as planned, we are tempted to place the blame on external factors or other people. While there may be external influences that impact the outcome, taking responsibility for our part in the situation is essential to our growth. Owning our mistakes, acknowledging where we fell short, and recognizing what we could have done differently helps us to move forward with greater clarity and wisdom. Denying responsibility or avoiding self-reflection only prolongs the cycle of stagnation, preventing us from gaining valuable insights and stunting our personal development. One of the most powerful aspects of learning from life's experiences is the ability to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Life is full of difficulties, and it is easy to become discouraged when things don't go as planned. However, challenges are often the greatest opportunities for personal growth. They force us to step outside our comfort zones, stretch our capabilities, and confront fears that we might otherwise avoid. When faced with a difficult situation, the natural instinct may be to react with frustration or to give up. But this is where growth begins. By choosing to embrace challenges as opportunities to grow, we can transform our mindset and approach to adversity. Every challenge, no matter how daunting, contains the seeds of growth, provided we are willing to see them and cultivate them. The process of growth also involves recognizing that learning is not always linear. Growth often comes in stages, and sometimes the lessons we learn take time to fully integrate into our lives. It is important to be patient with ourselves during this process. After all, change takes time and growth is rarely immediate. Just as a seed takes time to sprout and grow into a tree, the lessons we learn need time to fully develop and shape us. There will be setbacks along the way and moments when we feel as though we are not making progress. During these times, it is crucial to remember that growth is not a race, and every step, even the small ones, is significant. Every experience contributes to who we are becoming, and even when it feels like we're not moving forward, we are. Moreover, growth involves not just learning from our own experiences, but also from the experiences of others. We often hear the expression, learn from other people's mistakes, and while it may seem like common sense, it's a piece of advice many of us overlook. We don't always need to experience pain or failure ourselves to learn from it. Observing how others navigate their struggles, how they handle challenges, and how they respond to failure can provide valuable insights. These lessons can help us make better decisions, avoid common pitfalls, and handle situations with greater wisdom. Sometimes, seeing how someone else overcame an obstacle or dealt with adversity can inspire us to adopt their strategies or attitudes, helping us to grow without having to go through the same trials ourselves. Growth also requires the ability to adapt. It's one thing to learn a lesson from an experience, but it's another thing entirely to apply that lesson in a way that changes our behavior. Adapting to new information, new circumstances, and new challenges is an essential aspect of growth. When we learn from an experience, we must ask ourselves, how can I use this knowledge moving forward? Change is not just about knowing better, it's about doing better. The real power of growth lies in our ability to translate insights into action. When we adapt and change our behavior based on the lessons we've learned, we continue to evolve and develop in meaningful ways. Another important aspect of learning and growing from an experience is the ability to forgive. Whether it's forgiving others or forgiving ourselves, forgiveness is often a critical component of growth. Holding on to grudges or bitterness only weighs us down, preventing us from moving forward. When we forgive, we release the emotional baggage that keeps us tethered to the past, allowing ourselves the freedom to grow. Forgiveness does not mean that we condone the actions that hurt us or that we forget what happened. Instead, it is a conscious choice to let go of the pain and resentment that prevent us from moving forward. By forgiving, we create space for healing and growth, both for ourselves and for our relationships with others. Learning and growing from an experience also requires resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to continue moving forward in the face of adversity. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will inevitably arise. What matters is how we respond to them. Do we allow setbacks to define us, or do we use them as fuel to move forward? Resilience is about cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as insurmountable obstacles. It is about developing the strength to keep going, even when the road ahead seems difficult or uncertain. Resilience enables us to persevere, to learn from our experiences, and to emerge stronger on the other side. A crucial part of growth is the understanding that no experience is wasted. Every situation, every person we meet, and every decision we make has the potential to teach us something valuable. It is not always easy to see the lesson in the midst of pain or disappointment, but over time, we come to realize that even our most difficult experiences have shaped us in ways we may not initially understand. The scars we carry from past wounds are not just reminders of pain, they are also symbols of strength, resilience, and the ability to overcome. Through reflection and self-awareness, we can transform our most painful experiences into sources of wisdom, fueling our growth and development. Finally, growth requires openness. It requires the willingness to be vulnerable and to face uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Personal growth is not always easy or comfortable. It often involves confronting aspects of ourselves that we would rather avoid. However, it is only by facing these truths that we can truly evolve. Growth requires us to be open to change, to let go of old habits, beliefs, and patterns that no longer serve us, and to embrace the unknown. By remaining open to new experiences, new ideas, and new ways of thinking, we expand our capacity for growth and transformation. Learning and growing from every experience is an ongoing process, one that takes patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to change. It requires the courage to face our mistakes, the resilience to bounce back from adversity, and the openness to learn from both our successes and our failures. Ultimately, growth is about becoming the best version of ourselves, and that process never truly ends. Every day presents a new opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve into someone more capable, more compassionate, and more wise than we were the day before. Forgiveness is often seen as a moral virtue or an act of kindness toward others. It is a concept taught in almost every religion, philosophical system, and psychological framework. But the idea of forgiveness is often misunderstood. People tend to believe that when we forgive, we are excusing the actions of others or condoning their behavior. We might even feel that forgiveness means we are letting someone off the hook, allowing them to get away with something that hurt us. However, true forgiveness is not about the other person at all. It is about freeing yourself from the hold that the past has on you. It is about releasing the weight of anger, resentment, and hurt that can consume you and prevent you from moving forward. Forgiveness is not for them, it is for you. When someone wrongs us, especially in deep and painful ways, it is natural to feel hurt, betrayed, or angry. The emotional turmoil that follows such an experience can be all-encompassing, leaving us unable to think clearly or act rationally. Our emotions can take over, and we may feel the overwhelming urge to seek justice, retaliation, or even just to remain angry as a way to protect ourselves. We may feel that by holding on to anger, we are asserting our power or control over the situation. But in reality, holding on to these negative emotions is like carrying a heavy burden on our shoulders. The person who wronged us may have moved on, but we continue to carry the pain. They may have forgotten about what they did, but we are still reliving the hurt. By refusing to forgive, we remain tied to the past, letting it shape our present and our future. Forgiveness in its truest form is a choice. It is a decision to release the hold that someone else's actions have over us. It is the choice to stop allowing their behavior to dictate our emotional state. Forgiving does not mean that we agree with what happened or that we are saying it was okay. It is not about excusing bad behavior or reconciling with someone who may not deserve it. Forgiveness is about your emotional well-being. It is about choosing to let go of the negative emotions that are dragging you down and preventing you from living a full, free life. It is about releasing the past so that you can move forward. One of the reasons forgiveness is so important is that it allows you to take back control over your own life. When we are consumed by anger, resentment, or hatred, we are giving the person who hurt us power over us. We are allowing them to continue affecting us long after the event has passed. When we refuse to forgive, we give them the authority to dictate our emotional state, letting them shape our responses, our thoughts, and our actions. Forgiving someone is a way of taking back your power, reclaiming your peace of mind, and choosing to live life on your own terms, rather than being at the mercy of past events. Forgiveness also allows us to break the cycle of negativity. When we hold on to anger or resentment, we often find ourselves stuck in a cycle of pain. We replay the events in our minds over and over again, reliving the hurt, the injustice, the betrayal. These thoughts become like poison, feeding our anger and preventing us from healing. Each time we think about what happened, we allow the negative emotions to resurface, keeping us trapped in the past. The more we focus on the wrongs done to us, the harder it becomes to move forward. Forgiveness offers a way out of this cycle. When we forgive, we stop replaying the pain, we stop feeding the anger. We release the hold that the past has on us, making space for healing and growth. Forgiving frees us from the cycle of negativity and opens the door to a more peaceful and positive future. Another powerful aspect of forgiveness is its ability to foster inner peace. Holding on to negative emotions like anger, bitterness, and resentment can wreak havoc on our mental and emotional well-being. These emotions can cause stress, anxiety, and depression, affecting our physical health as well. Chronic anger and resentment can contribute to high blood pressure, weakened immune systems, and even heart disease. By forgiving, we release the burden of these toxic emotions, allowing our minds and bodies to heal. Forgiveness brings peace to our hearts, minds, and spirits. It helps us let go of the tension and stress that come with carrying anger, and it allows us to experience a sense of calm and tranquility. Forgiveness also promotes emotional maturity and growth. When we forgive, we demonstrate a profound understanding of ourselves and others. We recognize that we are all human, and we all make mistakes. We acknowledge that people can be hurtful, and that sometimes those hurtful actions are not intentional or personal. Forgiving someone requires us to rise above our own hurt and to approach the situation with empathy and compassion. It challenges us to understand that holding on to anger only keeps us stuck in a place of emotional immaturity. True growth comes when we learn to move past our own pain and to embrace the reality that forgiveness is not about the other person, but about our own healing. Moreover, forgiveness allows us to let go of the need for revenge or justice. When someone hurts us, the natural response is to want to see them face consequences for their actions. We might want them to feel the pain they cause or to experience some form of punishment. However, seeking revenge or justice only prolongs the pain and keeps us emotionally tied to the person who hurt us. Holding on to these desires only keeps us entrenched in the negative emotions that prevent us from healing. Forgiveness is an act of emotional liberation. When we forgive, we let go of the desire for retaliation. We stop waiting for the other person to pay for what they did, and we stop letting their actions continue to affect us. In choosing to forgive, we free ourselves from the need for justice and let go of the bitterness that keeps us trapped in the past. Forgiving others is not always easy. It often requires time, self-reflection, and a willingness to confront our own emotions. It can be difficult to forgive someone who has deeply hurt us, especially if the pain is ongoing or the offense is particularly egregious. It may feel like forgiveness is too much to ask, or that it means we are letting the person off the hook. But the reality is that forgiveness is an act of self-care. It is a way of choosing peace, freedom, and healing over anger, resentment, and pain. It is a way of reclaiming our emotional sovereignty and choosing to live a life that is not dictated by the actions of others. Forgiveness is also a gift we give to ourselves, not just for the sake of healing, but for our personal growth. When we forgive, we begin to cultivate a deeper sense of empathy and compassion. We recognize that we too have made mistakes and hurt others. We learn to be more patient and understanding with both ourselves and others. Forgiveness allows us to grow emotionally, helping us to become more resilient, more emotionally mature, and more capable of dealing with life's inevitable challenges. There is also a significant spiritual component to forgiveness. Many people find that forgiveness is not just a mental or emotional process, but a spiritual one as well. Letting go of the anger, bitterness, and resentment that we carry can create space for greater connection to the divine or to our sense of inner peace. Holding on to anger often keeps us disconnected from our higher selves, and forgiveness helps us to reconnect with our spiritual essence. It is an act of liberation, allowing us to live in alignment with our values, our purpose, and our true selves. Forgiving for yourself, not for them, is a powerful act of self-love. It is a recognition that your well-being is not dependent on someone else's actions or behavior. Your peace, your happiness, and your emotional health are within your control. And forgiveness is one of the most profound ways to reclaim that control. By forgiving, you break free from the emotional chains that have bound you to past pain and begin to create space for new experiences, new growth, and new opportunities. Forgiveness is not an event, but a process, a continuous practice that we must engage in as we encounter pain and hurt throughout our lives. It requires time, patience, and a willingness to release what no longer serves us. But when we truly understand that forgiveness is for our own healing, not for the benefit of the person who wronged us, it becomes an incredibly empowering choice. By forgiving, we choose to move forward, to heal, and to create a life that is not defined by past hurts, but by the strength and resilience that we cultivate in response to them. So when someone cheats or hurts you, remember this: protect your peace. Acknowledge your emotions, let go of revenge, learn from the experience, and forgive not for them, but for yourself. Life is too short to stay stuck in the pain. You have the power to rise above it, to heal, and to come out stronger than ever. Your story is still being written. You are not defined by the pain of others, but by how you choose to respond to it. Choose to respond with strength. Choose to respond with grace. And most importantly, choose to respond with love for yourself. Thank you